Instagram. Hope everyone is doing well. This is Friday, January 22nd, and Friday, January 22nd is, of course, JJ Johnson's birthday. And so, of course, we need to start out today's live stream with a little bit of JJ Johnson, I think. And if you saw on my IG post today or Facebook post talking about favorite records, so, I hope that you can share some of your favorite records, JJ records today. And so despite, the records that I put on there and all of the talk about JJ in person and the octets, when I think about JJ, everyone always thinks about his tune writing as like Lament is the first tune that comes to mind, right? And yeah, there you go. See, Lament coming in on the chat right on time. Lament is like everyone's favorite. And whoops, I think we have some music playing there. Whoops. Sorry, Instagram. We're going to play some music today. But before we get to that, I'm going to play some music on my own, one of JJ's tunes. So one of JJ's great tunes that I love, and I've loved it for a long time. Any of, if any of my former students from Florida State see this, I was obsessed with this tune at that point, and I've recorded it and put it up a bunch of times, and made a big, not a big band, but a trombone ensemble arrangement of Judy, this tune that JJ wrote, and it's one of my favorites. And I've been working on kind of a solo arrangement of this tune, and so we're going to start with that before we dive into the trading session today. So while we're doing that, if you're here for the trading session, we're going to get to that in just a minute. We're going to play 4 tunes today all together, kind of trading back and forth. I'll be sending you the backing track. Yeah, I agree, Laura. Judy is a tune. I love this tune. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to play that first while you're getting the backing tracks for your, not backing tracks, but your trombone together. You're getting maybe some lead sheets if you need them to play a couple tunes today. Questions, if you have them, of course, you can always drop them as comments into the chat or whatever. What's up? I see lots of people joining today. It's great. Feel free to drop in questions for the Q&A portion, but we're going to kick it off today. I'm going to play a little bit of a solo version of JJ Johnson's Judy. So thank you, JJ, for the inspiration constantly. And thank you to Michael Deese, who, when I went up to Michigan State last fall, was it last fall? I think it was last fall, 2020 fall? No, 2019 fall. 2019 fall. He gave me a nice a picture. He had a bunch of copies made of a great picture of JJ, and I've got it in my office to remind me to get my stuff together. So, and to keep it together, because JJ set the bar pretty darn high. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this arrangement. First time playing this arrangement of Judy by JJ Johnson. So we're going to get started with that. All right. Hope everyone's doing good. So there's a little bit of JJ. I had to do it. Get a little bit of JJ love there. So thanks for putting up with a little of my playing before we jump in. It's a hard one. I had some other things planned. I didn't play those things though, but that's okay. We'll do it again another time. Awesome. Oh, thanks for all the comments. I see everybody in there. What's up, Alton? What's up, Paul? I hope you're doing great, man. Another Paul. How's it going? Caleb? Yeah, these JJ tunes, there's something about those tunes, like that, specifically that one we were just playing, that it's like, it's kind of circular, like it doesn't actually really end ever. So if you know the tune, like it goes, like C minor, D7, E flat, E, B flat over F, F diminished, G minor, and then we're in G minor for a minute, and then it goes to E flat, and it just like it keeps going, and then it goes to that pedal section where it alternates between B flat over F and F sharp diminished, or D7, or like F altered, however you want to think about it. That kind of F sharp, that whole thing, all of that. So, yeah, definitely one of my favorites. Well, I'm glad that they sound clear and easy, Caleb. So it's a goal of mine to always to be able to play clearly. Clarity is the name of the game, or one of the names of the games for me, for sure. So I appreciate everybody stopping by. I see a bunch of people on Insta. What's up? What's up? Thanks for jumping in here. I see DJ. What's up, DJ? All right, so we're going to get to some of the topics of the day. Before we jump in and move into the trading, I wanted to address a question that came up last week, and I didn't get to answer the question. Someone was talking about double tonguing, multiple tonguing, and having some trouble using it for when they were improvising. So I think that you have to start practicing playing with double tongue, like in the slow tempo. Like, so for example, if I was playing this tune we were just playing, so I was probably mostly single tonguing, but multiple tonguing would end up being, even at that slow tempo, I could still practice multiple tonguing so that when I went faster, it would be clean and clear. So what I mean is, like, I could play da 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 da, or I could go da da ga da ga da, right? Da 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 do dee da, da da ga do ge da. So what I'm always trying to do when I'm playing and improvising and just playing whatever, whether it's single tongue or multiple tongue, is matching the two together so that I can freely articulate how I would talk, however I would say the phrase. And I've said this to my students, if they're watching, they'll say, oh yeah, he says this all the time. If you say it, however you say it, like doodle, double, whatever, you should articulate it that way. If you go, that's doodle, right? That's how you should articulate it, because that's what's natural to you. You know, that's my one kind of pet peeve about, well, maybe there's more pet peeves, but my one thing is that everyone is different, you know, like, and you can't subscribe to like, this way is right and this way is wrong. It's like, this way is right for these people. This way is right for these people. So for me, that's pretty important. So I would hope, and hope you will kind of take that approach and kind of think about how you need to find what works for you. You know, that's something I talk about that, you know, Wycliffe Gordon was super great at for me in our teaching student teacher relationship, was in having that instilling the curiosity, basically, like giving answers when necessary, but really actually trying to make me go and find the information myself, you know, not necessarily like just handing it all over. Here you go, this is how you do it. It was like, no, like, here you go, like, here's some stuff, like, you can go and like figure out the rest from here. So hope that makes sense. So that was a question from last week. I think Richard asked a question, and then I realized I didn't get to it before I had to jump off. So for the week. So there it is. There's a question about multiple tonguing and how you implement it into jazz. So the steps are to figure out how you would say it naturally, and then try to do it at slow tempos. Because if you can't do it at that speed cleanly, there's no way you're going to go. All that is not going to happen. So, and I do a D and a G syllable. So, so there you go. There's a little primer on double tonguing. We can go into more questions than that if people have them, but yeah, we're gonna start our play along session I think a little bit. Hey Kevin's here, enjoying Javier Nero. Yeah, Javier is great. We released his album this summer on my label, Outside In Music. It's called Freedom. If you want to check it out, Javier and I were at Juilliard at the same time. And little known trivia fact, we have the same birthday. Not the same year. He's a little younger than me, but same day, same birthday. It's kind of funny. But yeah, he's doing great. He accepted a position in one of the military bands, I think the Army Blues, I believe. And he is away at getting prepped for that. I think he's at boot camp right now, actually. This January 2021. It is 2021, right? Fantastic. So our program for today is going to include 4 tunes. So hopefully you're ready to rock and roll. We're going to play Stella by Starlight. We're going to play, what was it? Like Someone to Love, Bolivia, because this week was also Cedar Walton's birthday, who's the composer of Bolivia, of course. And so we're going to play those. Let me see. I'm just making sure. I'm still figuring out. I got this new setup here. Better microphones, I got a mixing board, new interface, and all this stuff. So I'm trying to figure it out. There's a request here from Cuba to play Whisper Not. We're not going to play Whisper Not today, Cuba. Sorry. But there was a Benny Golson trading session from over the summer. And if you want to check out that, I did play Whisper Not then. And that's a good tune. But you'll have to wait for another day for Whisper Not, unfortunately. So we're going to kick it off with Stella by Starlight. So what's going to happen is we'll play the melody together. If you want to, you could play like a harmony line, you know, make yourself happy, or just play the melody along with me. And then what we'll do is we'll end up trading. So I'll kind of call it out as we go. But if I'm not playing, that pretty much means you should be playing. And so it's interactive. So if you want to record your side and then we can see it later. Tony Glassy loved Stella. Yeah, I'll have to ask him about it. I have a call with him after this, actually. So with Stella, we're going to, so watch out in the last A on this particular version, they do the chromatic half steps down, E, A, E flat, A flat, D, G, C sharp, F sharp in those last 8 bars. But yeah, if you record your side, I'd love to put it together a video of all of us trading together. That would be super awesome. But no pressure. If you just do this for fun, and it'll be up on YouTube eventually, so you can go and play it back and practice, etc., etc. All right, so I'm going to turn this up so I can hear the backing track too. We're going to kick it off with Stella by Starlight. And all right, here we go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You should be playing right now. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, we're having a little trading party today, playing some tunes. Hope you're having a good Friday. And thanks for everyone coming in, making some nice comments here. Appreciate that, Carlos. Still trying to work out the sound altogether. I know it's maybe a little on the trombone at the moment, but hey, we learn through doing. So that's my motto anyway. I just try to do these things and try to sort it all out. So DJ's still here. Nice. DJ, I hope you're playing along. All right. So let's keep moving. Unless there's any questions. If people want to drop questions for, the Q&A portion, but I was trying to take, breaks from it's not always Q&A every Friday. Let's see. Paul has a question. Paul says, great playing. Are each of the chord names and sequences memorized in your head, or are they in your ear instead, or both? It's both, I guess. You kind of learn tunes and you internalize the chord structure. You internalize the chord, the sounds of the chords. And that particular tune is one you learn usually fairly early on in the game. And then over the years, it just becomes more and more automatic. But you're also listening, and listening to this. I don't always play along with these play-alongs. So for me, I try to not do it so that when I do play along with the play-along, I can kind of pretend like it's a real band, So if you get too entrenched with the play-along, you get to know exactly what's coming, right? And then it doesn't feel organic anymore. But if you do it sparingly, like I try to do it sparingly, it can be more interesting, I guess, musically. But yeah, you internalize the chord progression. I don't really like to use the word memorize, because memorize implies that you're just like reciting a list of chord names back and just remembering the sequence, as opposed to internalizing means that you don't have to guess because you know it. You know it. You could play it on the piano. You could play a bass line. You could play anything with the tune. Oh, what's up? Chris Glassman is here. Hey, Chris. He's gonna shed along. All right, take a video so we can. Selmer Pear says, "Do you have a favorite JJ tune we can look up?" Yeah, for sure. We were talking at the very beginning about, and I played a little version, and you can see it after the live stream is over if you like. But Judy is a favorite. I also like Shortcake. Those are two, if you want to look them up. But yes, today is JJ Johnson's birthday. If you didn't know, we started off the day with talking JJ and talking about favorite records. Some people dropped in some favorite records. JJ in person, one is one for me, and the J&K Octet, that first one with Night in Tunisia on it, is another favorite of mine. And mostly I'm just saying it's my favorite because it was one of the first ones, not necessarily because it's the only good one, but that was my one of my first loves. And Caleb says, mixing your sound for live streams is way harder than I thought. Yes, there's a lot of moving variables, especially as you introduce more and more things. Oh, that's okay, DJ. Yeah, okay, cool. So what's up, Arnie? Arnie's here. Arnie's from Switzerland. A great young trombonist. Check him out. Haekinen. He's on Instagram though, so I can't share him. That's good. Caleb, I'm really glad that it sounds okay. I've been messing with it for the last 3 hours. Oh, and there we go. My light just died. Very good. See, there's always something with a live stream. Always something's happening. Tony Tixier, what's happening, man? Great pianist. You're out in LA still, right? Okay, Michael asks, hey, Nick, where do you see jazz or jazz trombone going in the future, in the sense that swing evolved to bebop, then to free, etc.? Oh, man. Where do I see it going? I don't know. I guess a lot of different people are taking it in a lot of different directions. I guess it depends on what your preferences are as a person, But oh no, Tony's in Paris. Okay, Tony's back in Paris. I think I see it going. I think so people are going to do their thing, I want to see people getting away from feeling tied down, with the trombone specifically, because people have, at least I do, and I think other people have what would you call it? Like a stigma or something about the trombone, and I can't do this or I can't do that. But yeah, we can pretty much do whatever, man. I think it's a great lead instrument. I think it works well in small groups. I hope that we can get more people, thinking of trombone as a lead instrument, not like an obnoxious instrument. Man, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I'm not a predictor of the future. I'm not a seer. I know that I want to make music that I know it's cliche. Like I will Wayne Shorter stuff. I want to do all of it. So featured on the cover of Jazz Is magazine and his group the Westerlies. They just released an album with Theo Bleckman. It's pretty amazing. You can check that out. That's the Westerlies. Uh, yes, Caleb says we can't just say trombone is hard and give up. Yes, please don't just say that. Trombone is hard, but don't give up. It's going to be okay. Chris asked a question. He says, "What's your favorite hidden gem record that not a lot of people know of?" Oh man, hidden gem record. I guess it depends. When you say not a lot of people know about, are we talking? It's like kind of a relative term, right? It's like how deep of a historian are we talking about? Like you, Chris, probably know about whatever records that I would bring up, but maybe a younger student maybe wouldn't. You know, one that I think is really good of JJ, since we're talking about JJ, is some where he's not the leader. You know, so I'm finding some. There's Horace Silver, Cape Verdean Blues. I mean, people know about that record, I think, but I think it's interesting because it's Joe Henderson and Kenny Dorham and JJ. No, is it Kenny Dorham or is it Freddie? Getting caught red-handed here. But anyway, like it's definitely Joe Henderson, and it's like kind of interesting to hear JJ play with those guys and play different kind of music because that's kind of pushing beyond JJ's comfort zone, you know. So that's interesting. I like some of the there's like a Duke Ellington record called Blues in Orbit. Not a lot of people listen to. I like that one. But yeah, Nutville is iconic. It's not like that hidden of a gem of a record, but yeah, Blues in Orbit, Duke Ellington. I like that one. There's the one called the Lost Sessions. It's all these small group sessions. Those are pretty cool to hear. I like also the suites of Duke Ellington. Sometimes people listen to them and sometimes they don't. So it's really like depends on who we're talking to here. Like the New Orleans suite, like Far East suite, like all that stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure that I have a good answer for you, Chris, in terms of a deep cut album. It really is like, you know, the deeper you get into something, you know, the more it seems obvious, I guess. You know? I don't know. Okay, so here another question. Feel free to drop in questions. We'll get to the next tune here in a second. We're going to play, the next tune is Like Someone in Love. So if you want to pull up Like Someone in Love. Michael's question right before we do that, he says, knowing what you know today, is there anything you would have changed during your development years? Oh, there we go. This is a slept on record. This is obvious. I should have said this. The Standards album from Live at the Village Vanguard, J.J. Johnson. It's got a black cover with a trombone on it. Gold trombone, you know, and some of my students couldn't find it. They bought it on cassette tape and then transferred the cassette tape to digital. That's it. Some people sleep on that one, but there's a great solo on Just Friends on there. And there's a great version. Oh man, the great version of My Funny Valentine on there. They play so musically. Yeah, it's killing. Drew Watson, thoughts on the Dave Brubeck record with J and K. Which record is that? Is that the J and K record or is it a Brubeck record? Because if it's a Brubeck record, I don't know if I know which one that is. Yeah, it was on YouTube. The Standards album was on YouTube. They took it down. I have it now. So, DJ asked, do you think that jazz clubs are going to be able to stay open with these live stream concerts? I have no clue, man. I hope so. A lot of them are doing fundraising efforts in addition. So if you know, it's going to be important for us to try to support these clubs, man. It's going to be definitely hard with basically no income. You know, you can only get so much for these tickets, you know, for these live streams. So I would definitely, if you can support the clubs, you know, they're trying their best, you know. Smalls has a great foundation, you know, if you can. And that's the lifeblood of the creative jazz scene in New York is Smalls, you know, as well as the great venues like Dizzy's and the Blue Note and Jazz Center is closed now, and Birdland's in danger of being closed. So I don't know, man. It's like it's hard. I don't have a good answer. I hope so, but if they don't, something will come back. You know, I think we're gonna have to be nimble as an industry. I think we're gonna have to embrace jazz's role as a non-popular form of music. You know, sometimes I think our problems come from trying to straddle the divide between, you know, like a classical model and a pop model, and we kind of sit in the middle, and so we get neither you know, we get no success in either way because we don't have a lot of you know, broad appeal, but we also don't do a great job of like getting foundational money. We don't do a great job of I mean, it's kind of moving that way. A lot of things are going into the institutions. All my friends are getting teaching jobs, you know, and it's because of this exact thing. Nothing. I'm not saying that they're getting a teaching job and they're not qualified to, because of course they are. But it's like jazz is moving towards these institutional things, for better or for worse. But probably for the music, for the worse. But you know, there's still going to be people that are able to, you know, do their thing and cultivate an audience. That's why it's just like so important for you to cut out the middleman and try to just develop your own audience on your own, and get rid of the idea of whether it's jazz or it's not jazz or it's this or it's that. It's just music, you know. It's cliche to bring up that, you know, Ellington quote of it's either good music or bad music. There's only two kinds of music, good and bad, you know, whatever. And I mean, I agree, but it is cliche, but it's true. And just, you have to start cultivating your own audience as soon as you can, because whatever model you think exists to like become successful in the jazz industry probably won't apply to you by the time it's right time to go. You know, like it's changing all the time, you know, like being able to move to New York and play with Art Blakey or somebody like that is not really a thing. So anyway, not to get too esoteric here, but okay, so Drew's asking about this record from 1956, Dave Brubeck and J&K. I don't think I know that record that well, so I don't think I can comment too much on it, actually, Drew. I'll have to do some homework. I'll be the first one to admit, I go deep on records, and there's some that I've missed, for sure, you know? Like the ones that I know, though, like I know them really well. So, you know, that's something to think about. What's up, man? What's up, Corey? I see Corey's here. Corey's his screen name is The Big Dog Cometh, but he's an amazing trombonist in New York. Look him up. Brian Soy, do you feel a difference playing in a big band with 3/5 bones instead of 4? How about listening to a big band with 3 bones, 3 or 5 bones instead of 4? Well, I love Duke Ellington's section, so I love the 3-bone sound, and you know, it's a different sound. I'm not a big fan of the 5-bone sound, really. I think it's too much. I think it's too loud and too many bass trombones. Sorry, bass trombonists. That's just how I feel. But what's the difference in playing? You know, there's a lot more. When you have 3, it's all triads because it's all 3 notes, you know. It's all 3 notes. You got to tune it better. It tunes differently. The intonation is different when you have 4 versus 5 voices. If you ever start to mess around with that sort of stuff, like for example, if you have a C drone, or if you have a C and a G drone, like it's gonna tune differently. The E natural is gonna tune differently to make that triad. I know this is super like detailed and probably too nerdy for anybody that's watching a live stream about this, but anyway, the intonation is different. I like that 3 trombone sound, man. The Lincoln Center Band, they do that too. Sometimes you miss the low notes though, for sure. Like I think it's a sound, man. It's a sound. But playing, I like both ways. I mean, it's interesting playing with the Gil Evans project, which it's been a little while because of everything. But like Gil wrote for all different size ensembles. So some of them are like 1 trombone, bass trombone, and tuba. Some of them are 2 trombones, bass trombone, and tuba. Some of them are full trombone section. Some are full trombone section plus tuba. And like hearing and blending and all of that is very interesting, man. It's super cool. And you have to just be able to adapt to any situation, I think. But that's the Eastman coming out in me. You got to be prepared for any situation, you know? Yeah, Arnie is right. He says the fine tuning is super important. Glad to hear you're talking about that, since many people are neglecting it. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm putting together kind of a whole sequence of lessons about tuning with drones and stuff like this. So I've been thinking about it a lot too. But it's super important. That's how you set yourself apart as a section player too. Like can you identify where your note sits in the voicing, not only in terms of the pitch, but the balance, and trying to make sure that it sounds good. And playing Gil Evans music is a good example of that, for sure. Anthony, yes, we're just in between tunes right now. We're gonna play Like Someone in Love in a second here. I just got distracted because there's been a bunch of great questions, and but we'll get to that in just a sec. Okay, last one, and we'll play Like Someone in Love. What's your plans for your next album? Alton, that is a great question. I had plans, and obviously things have changed. But no, I'm going to release some stuff that I've been working on my own. That's coming this spring. And then I'm working on some music for I'm not sure how many musicians it's for yet, and I'm going to keep speaking it into existence. So I'm going to say it here on the live stream again. I'm going to do it's a jazz group plus a percussion ensemble. So I don't know exactly how many people it involves yet, or how many music. I'm thinking 4 jazz people, like bass, drums, 2 horns, and then percussion ensemble, just to try to explore some different textures, because everybody does strings or big band, and I don't really. At some point, I will do a big band, but for now, I want to do something different. And I'm writing some new tunes for my sextet too. But all right, man. Alton's trying to buy pre-order copies before they're even available. Thanks, Alton. Appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna take a break from Q&A and move back to our trading session. We're gonna play Like Someone in Love in C, not in E flat, in C. All right, so here we go with Like Someone in Love. So I'll take the first chorus. We'll do it the same way. So we'll play the melody together, and then I'll take the first chorus, and then you guys can take the second, and then we'll trade at some point, and I'll call it out like I did.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we're gonna go to eights. Going to eights. So sometimes when you don't listen to the backing track before, you don't know what's about to happen at the end. But like I said, it keeps it fresh. Keeps it fresh. But that was Like Someone in Love. Yeah, somebody was saying something about Like Someone in Love. Who was saying something? Gonzo Beans. He's been listening to it. Yeah, man, speaking of JJ, man, there is a killer video of JJ playing that tune from a live TV thing in Europe somewhere. And it's killing. Like, he's got the band set up. There, one cat, is it Kenny Clark? I got Philly Joe. I forget exactly. I'll have to go look at the personnel again. But on 3 different like little podiums, and there's some great shots of his slide technique. So if you want to check out JJ's slide technique, that's the video. That's the one. Jim Pugh turned me on to that. So if you don't know Jim Pugh, legendary trombonist. He plays with Steely Dan now, but played with everybody. Chick Corea, Woody Herman, all that stuff. All right. Thanks, Selmer. Appreciate you dropping by. Thanks, Anthony. You should sing your solo. You sound so much like Carl Fontana when you play trombone. Oh, interesting. What do you think? DJ says, what do you think of you do when you're learning a tune and you can't find a single version of the tune that has a definitive version of the melody? That is a great question. Yeah, Chet Baker has a version. Good. Gonzo's seen that video. Fantastic. Okay, so finding a way to learn the melody when you can't find a version that has a clear melody. Well, I guess it's a kind of a combination. You kind of hear what's similar between the two. Is there a certain tune you're thinking of, DJ? You got to kind of put a conglomeration together and then look at the lead sheet, and kind of see what the simplest version of it might be. There's always, if you want to be really specific about it, you can go and find the score to the original like musical that it came from or something like that. And I know there were some colleagues of mine at Juilliard that used to go and do that to make sure that because we always put probably too many chord substitutions and try to make it too hip. But if you want to go and see the original stuff, you can find the score books to the from the musicals. That's the real melody, like Cole Porter's melody, the real melody. It's probably not quite as complex as we want to make it out to be, In Your Own Sweet Way. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's another one. I guess a little different because it's instrumental tune, right? Like Dave Brubeck tune. So I try to learn it from the composer if possible, if it's a tune like that. The bridge to that one is a mystery of what's the real thing. Because even when you listen to Dave play it, he plays it different in different ways. So in terms of definitive version, you just got to pick one, And so I try to learn a few versions. That's kind of what I do. Be like, all right, do you want to play it like this? Or what are you thinking about? So you have some context, and the people you're playing with have context too, So it's here's a few versions and there's some different ways that people do this, and then you can draw from those on your own time and of your own accord, really. And you can do it however you like. All right. Peter asks, what's the bluesiest JJ solo you've ever heard? Mine is a solo on J-Lock on the Kansas City album with Basie, Freddie, Eddie Lockjaw Davis. Oh, sure. The bluesiest solo? I don't know if I have an answer to that. I like a bunch of his blues solos that everybody else likes, like Blue Trombone and Blues in the Closet. But I think the most killing blues line is Mysterioso. It's killing. That will be the one lick I will call out. Blues in F. Yeah, there you go. There's so many good ones. Yeah, I don't know. If you mean the count of the most blue notes, I'm just giving you a hard time. What's your favorite Count Basie tune of all time? Oh, that's a good question from Anthony. Favorite Count Basie tune. It's so hard to pick favorites. I know, and I asked everybody what their favorites were. Double standards. What's my favorite Count Basie tune? You gotta love Blues and Haas's Flat because it features the trombones. I would say, But my favorite Basie tune ever, man, I like those Basie and Sinatra records. That's kind of what I'm about. But I love, there's lots of great Basie tunes, but I don't have a favorite. But I do like those ones with Basie and Sinatra. I think those are pretty killing. And there's there's a feature for Al Gray on The More I See You. That is killing too. Yeah, Whirlybird is cool. All right, Brian asked, do you ever feel like there's not enough time to go deep enough into all the groups or players around, even if we're only talking about the famous ones? Yes. You can't know everything. That's something that I like to say more than once to students, my students in particular, because it's true for me too. There isn't enough time. You have to prioritize. You have to mix what people are telling you and what you like together and figure out how that ends up with you having a really strong foundation in the music and also develops your own kind of way of playing and your own natural vocabulary decisions and all that sort of thing. I think it happens naturally from studying. So, but there's no way you can't go into everybody. So for me, it's all right, I dug most deeply on J.J. Curtis, Slide Hampton, and then a little snippet of this person, that person, Clifford Brown, a bunch of solos, some Pat Metheny solos, some Herbie and Chick solos. Like you can't be everywhere. You can't know everything. So it's like I feel like you have to go like it's like the 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of your transcription or study should be on a small group of like 5 people that are really like the most influential and important. Some of them have to be on your instrument because you have to know the context of what your instrument can do, right? So if I was going to expand from there, it would also include, Wycliffe Gordon, Steve Turre, Steve Davis. Those people all, I super highly respect and want to play like too. So, that's 6, I guess. I transcribed a bunch of Wycliffe Gordon when I was in high school. But, then there's little things like I got into a little thing where I transcribed a bunch of Trummy Young for a while and then some Teagarden for a while. But it was like 80% of what I'm talking about is the same 20 to 30 JJ solos, Curtis solos, just getting the understanding of the vocabulary and the context, and then you can kind of expand from there. And that's what makes you, Do you ever sing when you perform? No. There was one gig I did sing. I filled in for a singer and we had a brass band and I sang. So sometimes if I'm playing like a brass band gig, yeah, sure, I might sing. But it's not really a thing that I do. Not my strength, I would say. So yeah, I don't really sing. Sorry. Dr. B. Okay, so we got a couple more tunes. Maybe we'll skip the blues. So we're going to play one more tune to kind of close out today. So we'll do one more tune and then we'll take any other questions at the end, of course. I see some more people joining us on Insta. What's happening? Chili, Stephen, Lina Leone. All the words are right over this really busy shirt, so I can't read them on Instagram. Note to self, don't wear this shirt if I want to read any of the comments on Instagram. All right, so like I said at the beginning, it's JJ's birthday, so happy birthday, JJ Johnson. This week was also Cedar Walton's birthday. It was back like at the weekend, but so this week in our studio, we were kind of checking out some Cedar Walton because Cedar writes great tunes and they're challenging and fun and all of that. So we're going to play a little bit of Bolivia. So Bolivia, of course, it's on... what records is it? I mean, it's on a bunch of records, so you know the tune. So we're gonna play that. Some people have a love-hate relationship with this tune because the A sections are vamp, right? There's mostly a vamp. It's one chord for a while, and then the B sections have a bunch of changes. So I won't dig too deep into it, but let's just trade choruses on this one. That's probably the easiest way to do it. But this one's not quite as long as the others. But so we're gonna jump into trading session here. One more tune today on Bolivia. And then we'll wrap it up with whatever questions are left, and we'll talk about what's happening coming up in the future. Some very exciting things coming for February. I'm excited to be launching something very cool. So we'll talk about that in February or coming up. But for now, we're going to jump into Bolivia. I'm going to turn it, make sure I get this volume correct. So get your lead sheet out if you want to do that. But we're going to play Bolivia now. And if you're playing along and you want to record it and send it to me, I'd love to put together a little compilation of all the cats trading along, which is super awesome. But no pressure, just fun and games. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. All right, so here we go. We're going to get rolling with Bolivia. There's a long introduction. I'll cue you into the melody here. I'll just even get it rolling because that's how long the intro is. All right, here we go. Bolivia. It's G7. Somebody asked what key it is. I think this is the last one. Yes, okay. So the surprise ending again. I'm always getting confused. What's up? I see Nick Crane is here. Jaden, what's happening, man? I see some questions came in. So that was Cedar Walton's Bolivia. So thanks for playing. If you've been playing along today, we'll do it again next month. Trying to get one trading session in per month at least, and as fitting it into our Friday live stream. So if you didn't know, we're here Friday every week at around 1 p.m. Eastern time. I see some questions coming in. So that tune, I guess the tune is technically in D, I think, but I think at least the bridge kind of centers around it. But I guess you could argue otherwise. But G7 is that first chord. That's what we were doing there. So thanks for joining today. Got a couple questions. We'll answer a few more questions as things come in, and then I'll have to go because I have a call to get on to. You can see we have Outside in Music poster back here that I'm pretty pumped about. I got to move it up though. I know you can't see it, but we're we're going to do this again. So those are the 3 tunes for today. That was awesome. But some questions. So the first one I see, I'm going to get these Insta ones, and then I see the one from YouTube, Brian. So I'm going to grab Gonzo Bean's question. How can I come up with more creative lines? Well, transcribe more creative lines, number one. Get some more like different people into your playing. So like obviously trombone is great, but we got to have a little bit of extra flavor, So like sometimes I transcribe like, Joshua Redman, or transcribe Chick Corea or Herbie Hancock, like different more quote unquote modern people that maybe are playing the same vocabulary, but in a different way, playing free always helps me to like try to figure out what I'm playing. Maybe diving deeper into the intervals and modes of the 4 parent scales could be something that you want to do. That's major, melodic minor, harmonic minor, and harmonic major. If you don't know the 7 modes of each of those, you might find some stuff in there that inspires you. I know it inspires me, inspires tunes and stuff. So that could be a good place to start. So I hope that helps. Transcribe. Find stuff inside of what you already know, like major, minor, all that. And then Blink side. Good times, Nick. Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for coming. Oh, epic live stream. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, things are moving along. I finally got some better equipment so we could do all of this. So, Gers is here on Instagram now. What's up, Gers? Okay, so question from Brian. He asks, when do you handwrite music versus using software? Do you think handwriting band parts might be feasible if you're dipping your toes into writing and don't want to pay a ton for software you might not use much? There are some free options. The thing about writing by hand is you got to have really, really clear handwriting, so you got to go really slow. So when I was in grad school, our first assignment in arranging class was to do that exact thing, to write a nonet chart or octet chart, but do all the parts and score by hand and make a performance copy. So you might do things like, find a straight edge and make sure everything is even, and like pre-mark the bar lines on the parts, and make sure you learn how to be don't be left-handed if you want to write by hand. That's funny. Probably true though. I'm sorry. I'm right-handed, so I can't comment. Gil, thanks for being here. He's taken off. You have a great weekend too. But while we're on the topic, I'll finish the question for sure. There's free software options. I would recommend doing the by hand once, but as long as it's clear, I don't think it matters. Steve Turay, all his stuff is all by hand, and it's really great. All his exercises, transcriptions, everything by hand, and it's really great handwriting. For me, my handwriting is terrible. So I write on the computer. I do not compose at the computer, hardly ever. I might find voicings and type and kind of put them into the computer, but I always do it by hand I like to use large format paper, like a score paper. I stole this from Maria Schneider, Paul McKee, and a bunch of people have said this before, like write on giant score paper, even if it's not what it's going to be eventually. And I have a notebook. Where is it? Is it on my desk? I thought it was on my desk. Yes, it is here. So I also have this notebook here. I'll show you that I write stuff in. I'm going to show this camera. Will it focus? No. So you can't even see how bad my handwriting is. But at any rate, I have this notebook where I write stuff. That's like quick hands. So sometimes it's melodies, sometimes it's voicing, sometimes it's chord changes, all the different ways that you can write tunes that I do. But I use a little notebook like this. And then anything that's going to go to the band, I always put it in the computer because my stuff is super sloppy. But there is education discounts you can look into. There are some free options. I forget. What is it? Muse Score? Somebody type it in the chat. I know that DJ knows. What's the one all the students use? There's a free one. And I personally think that it doesn't look right when they do it, but it's better than nothing, that's for sure. There it is. Trenton likes jazz. Hey Trenton, what's the name of that the software? The Muse Score? Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Muse Score. So check that out. I think it's for iPad too. Yeah, Muse Score. Confirmed, Muse Score. That's free. So you can start with that, Brian. But yeah, that's that. All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here today. Appreciate you all. It's been a very fun live stream. It's great to connect with a bunch of you again, or some of you for the first time. If you have any last questions, type them in the next few seconds. And while I'm talking about what's coming up, we're going to have some guests on the show coming up in February, so that'll be fun. We're going to announce Mouthpiece collaboration, which is coming up in February too, which is super awesome. I'm excited about that. Anthony, thanks for being here. We'll be back with more tunes. I'll post them up and make sure that everybody knows what the tunes are for next. If you have any suggestions, I saw somebody who said Whisper Nod earlier. We did that already, but maybe we can do it again. You too, Gonzo Beans. So that's coming up in February. Some more, I'm going to do kind of like a concert kind of situation. It's kind of like today, maybe not totally trading, but kind of put it together, a 20, 30-minute solo concert to do. That'll be something that I'm trying to work up for myself as a challenge, a personal challenge. So we can maybe hear that in a couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll be back every Friday, 1 p.m. Next Friday, I've got a masterclass that goes until 1:40 Eastern time. So it'll probably be more like 2 next week. If you want to, Paul, I should interview Paul McKee. I could interview Paul McKee. I could. Sure. Love Paul. I took over from him at Florida State when he left to move to Colorado. Augustine Indus. Neither a King 2B or 3B. I play a King 3B plus. The plus is just a slightly larger bore, kind of medium bore, like a Bach 16 kind of vibe. 525 bore, because that's the sound. Dr. B, thanks for being here. I'm glad you enjoyed. Appreciate you, everybody, being here. So if you want to replay any of this stuff, it's going to be re-released without any of the banter as an episode that comes out on the YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and head over there. I see a lot of people are watching from YouTube, so you're already there. But Steve Cortica, what's up, man? Steve Cortica is a great saxophonist, and he also wrote a really great book. It's odd time signature versions, and working on odd time signatures with tunes. And he had me do one with Cone Alma. Steve, what's the book called? I forgot. Odd time. I forgot the title of the book. But I recorded, and it was super awesome, super fun, and we've used it in my studio to check stuff out. I'm sure he'll tell us in a second. But he asked if I ever play bass trombone. I am a bass trombone holder, sure. No, yeah, I play bass trombone when the situation warrants it. But I wouldn't say, like, being a doubler is not my main thing, so I don't double as well on bass trombone as other people do, that's for sure. But yeah, I play bass and bass trombone. A Practical Approach to Odd Meters, Steve Cortica, Kortyka. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, I'm putting his name up down there. So check that out. Him and Colin Gordon, saxophonist, another saxophonist. He's from Eastman. I know him from Eastman. Put that out. Gosh, I guess it was a while ago now. But it seems like we just did it. Oh, it's like a time warp, the last 12 months. But anyway, I'm so glad everybody could be here today. Thank you so much. I'm going to jump off. I got a call in 10 minutes that I got to get on. The wheels of progress must turn forward. So thanks for being here. As always, we'll see you next week, and take care.